stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome back to We Are Mighty. How y'all doing out there? It's only been a couple of weeks, but I tell you, every time it seems like it's been longer and longer. I hope it's been a good couple of weeks for you. I can't say that for myself. It's been hectic, it's been crazy, and honestly, I'm just shocked at some of the things that I've experienced over this last couple of weeks. I'm just trying to take every day as it comes, deal with the situations as they arise, but I almost feel like the whole situation that is the reason that we're here, the loss of my son, it just feels like it opened floodgates. There's so many things that have come at me left and right. So many different types of grief that I've had to deal with since losing my son. And I've told people, after going through that kind of loss, there's really nothing that can affect me in the way that it did. And that's true, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing that can affect me, if that makes sense. So I believe last time I mentioned that I had a sick puppy at home and we were trying to nurse him back to health. My poor guy, he ate something he wasn't supposed to eat, and we got x-rays from the vet and they told us that there was something in his intestines that was blocking, but he was too weak for them to do surgery and they were trying to have him pass whatever it was on his own. Well, unfortunately, Kona did not pass whatever the obstruction was, and my poor baby did not make it. So, another loss. Kona was 3.5 years old. We got him when he was 8 weeks old. It was kind of cute. My husband and I went to look at the puppies. He wanted a girl, I wanted a boy. When I was looking at all the boys, there was one that I picked up and he literally crawled up my shoulder and started chewing on my hair. And they said, "Oh, I think that's your puppy." And that was Kona. And so I had him from that day he chewed on my hair until earlier this month, when he passed away because he couldn't eat, he couldn't drink, he got severely dehydrated. And so I lost my puppy. And, over the past few months, I've been thinking about how people always say, "Oh, death happens in threes." I really wish it did only happen in a set of three for me. I've been dealing with death quite a bit in the past 11 months. It hasn't even been a year. But I've been dealing with other grief as well on top of it. So it's never ending. It's like blow after blow after blow. Either someone close to me passing away or someone close to friends of mine passing away, people that I cared about, or something happening that was a huge loss to myself or my family. And I don't remember it being this excessive. Of course, people die every day. Of course, things happen every day. I just don't feel like things have happened in my life or directly connected to my life as much as it has in the past 11 months. And maybe it's my quote unquote season, but I will be so glad when the season is over. They say that the word says that he won't put more on you than you can bear. But I really feel like I'm getting close. I really feel like it. And you never know how strong you can be until you're put in the position to where you have to be strong. But man, People are always, oh, you make it look so easy. You're one of the strongest women I know. I don't really know if I'm that strong. I just know that I have to deal with it. I know that I have to take it as it comes. I know that I have to move forward. And I know that I have to make sure my life goes on and I can't just give up. But it has been a struggle. It has been a fight. I've been knocked down a few times. Surprised at some of the times how I'm getting back up because it's a lot. And I was just looking back over how it's been for me and going back to July of 2023. July, I lost my son. Again, there's no pain that compares to that. There's nothing you can do to prepare for it. I know someone who their child was sick and it still was hard for them to prepare for something like that. And after that, a month later, my husband was in a motorcycle accident in front of me. I was driving behind him in his truck. After that, one of my closest friends passed away from cancer, and we had been fighting it for almost a year, and she was doing well, and then all of a sudden, she just took a turn. Those three in itself were serious blows, and I'm still trying to be strong, and not only be strong for myself, for my family, for her family. You know, that was a lot, and that was only in a 90-day period. Shortly after that, someone who was close to my family, close to my parents that I'd known a very long time, she had been sick, but she passed away. Then we also had a gentleman who was close to our family. He passed away. And then recently, I'll say out of nowhere because it came unexpectedly, just a month ago, I lost my job. Now that was definitely not expected, wasn't prepared for, and completely catapulted me into a whole different mindset because now I got to figure out where my money's coming from. I've got to handle things. And, you know, we did have the arrest in my son's murder, but now I've got to start going to court. And now I have to deal with hearing the details. And there's just so much coming at me at one time. I've been married. This is my third marriage. A lot of people know that. It's not a secret. But my first mother-in-law passed away earlier this week. We had a good relationship, so that's another blow. It just keeps coming. It is never ending. I feel like I haven't stopped saying, I'm so sorry for your loss, or my condolences, or we're going to get through this, or we're going to be okay. Comforting friends of my son, comforting family having to deal with these details coming out about my son's murder and that triggering them. I literally had to change the ringtone on my phone because I realized I am triggered by the regular iPhone ringtone because when my phone rings, I think of the phone call that I got. And all I can say is it is never ending. It just keeps coming. What do we do? How do we? I feel like there's no way to prepare, but how do we continue seeing it in this way? That's why I feel like it has to be a season for me. And maybe my family and I were spoiled because we went so many years without having to deal with any type of grief, any type of major loss. But it literally, the floodgates have opened. And I just want God to shut them again. Just give me a little bit of a breather. Just give me a chance to address all that has come my way just in these 11 months. And then I have other people who are dealing with situations where they are worried about what's coming next. And I've always been the strong person for them. And I'm still being that, telling them it's okay. You're going to get past it. You're going to get through it. But the thing is, because of everything that I've dealt with and everything that's come my way, I'm afraid, Lord, are you going to take this person from me too? Are you going to hit me with another blow from this? Am I going to lose this? Am I going to have to figure out how to move forward here? And I don't like that, because it's not necessarily a preparation. I feel like it's a paranoia. And I've never been a paranoid person. But I guess when you deal with so much, when you have so many things hitting you, that's what it becomes. And I know I just said a whole lot in probably, 5 minutes? But that's how it's just coming at me. And it feels like of course, everything feels like it was just yesterday. I feel like I was bowling with my son just yesterday. And it's been almost a year. I'm trying to cope with these things, and I'm trying to find a way to have a balance to where I am not literally every minute of my day focusing on some type of grief. Not just the grief of the loss of life, the grief of the loss of my job, the grief of it's summertime, knowing that my husband and I have been riding motorcycles forever, but still having that fear of, is an accident going to happen? Where it was always previously, let's be safe, let's be careful, let's be aware of our surroundings, because it hadn't happened in 20 some years. So the grief of that accident is creeping back up on me. And of course, accidents happen, and safety should be your number one priority, and that should be what helps to prevent accidents. But the thing is, it's not just about how we are. There's the saying or the slogan, start seeing motorcycles, because it's not necessarily the riders. Now, there are some reckless riders. There definitely are. And I feel like there have been a lot more motorcycle accidents because of reckless riding. But the other aspect is the person in the other vehicle. We can't control what they do. We can be as careful as we know how, as we've been taught. When my husband had his accident, he employed every safety measure that we had been taught in our classes, that we go over. But it was just the situation of what the other driver did by turning in front of him, and he couldn't stop fast enough and slammed into this guy's truck. So now it's more of a paranoia and what's going to go wrong now? What can happen now? There's been freak accidents that you would never expect those things to happen. Can something like that happen? And it's hard to live every day with that kind of paranoia. Not just the freak accident. Will someone start shooting out of nowhere? Those things are happening. Mass shootings are happening all over the country. So I'm really in an area of struggle right now. I'm really at a time where I am paranoid. And I don't like this feeling. I don't like looking over my shoulder and constantly thinking the worst case scenario. And yes, I'm going to therapy. Yes, I speak on it. And my therapist is very helpful with making sure that we understand that, as we all say, life is lifing. And you have to continue with your life, and you can't be stuck in this place. And I've been doing pretty well for the most part. I guess it's just right now, it's getting me to the point where some of the stuff is just really weighing on me. And I can't pinpoint one thing, one particular thing that has me there. There's so much to choose from. But I'm going to make it. We're going to get through this together. And that's the whole point of this podcast. To speak to you to try to be encouraging to you, but to also let you know I'm not here to just speak at you and, tell you what you should be able to do and tell you what to try and what methods to use to get past your grief. I'm here to let you know I am living this. And this is something that I've never had to deal with before. So if you are dealing with grief, we're in this together. We're really in this together. I don't know from one day to the next when I'm going to cry. I don't know from one day to the next when I'm just going to be so angry. To be honest, I'm surprised that I'm able to keep my composure every time I record this podcast, because on a regular day, I may speak on something related to my son and I have a moment. I look at a picture and I have pictures of my baby all over my house. I look at a picture. I hear a specific sound. Somebody says something like him. I see one of his friends and I lose it. So I feel like this may be my empowerment, and this is what's keeping me a little bit stronger, is being here speaking to you, and I have no clue who half of you are, and that's fine. But being able to be here and express myself has really helped me. And like I said, just recently, it's been tough for me. So it was almost like I can't wait to film my podcast so that I can release some of this, so I can feel a little bit empowered to deal with it. I feel like I'm not alone just by recording this and putting it out there for whomever would like to see it. Because we are mighty. We're strong, stronger than we think sometimes. And we will have our moments when we fall down, but we're going to get back up. We have to. We may get back up and not have as much strength as we had before we fell down, but we'll gain it back. I truly believe that. There are days when I do not want to get out of the bed. I don't want to face life at all because nothing has happened according to my plan. My plan. That's the issue. Remember a few episodes back, I'm not the one who's in control of it. I have to tell myself that a lot. And have to sometimes say, Lord, I wish I was. I wish you'd give me control for just a little while. There's only a couple things I'd change. I might bring my son back. I don't know how that would work, but hey, if you put me in control, I'd have to change a few things because I understand it all works according to your plan and all things work together for the good, but I'm still having a little bit of an issue accepting some of these things that you had planned out for me. Nevertheless, there's nothing I can do except go day by day. Try to strengthen myself with my own words of encouragement. Try to accept the words of encouragement of my family, of my friends, of my therapist, the books that I read, all of the information that comes my way to try to help. And it helps to a certain extent. But it's still me that has to deal with it. So I understand if me telling you, hey, dust yourself off, pick yourself up, you can do it, if it don't mean nothing to you. I get it. Because until you're ready to deal with it, until you're ready to take the next step, people can talk all they want. They can encourage you all they want, and they may have the best intentions. I'm sure if they're encouraging you, they do have the best intentions. But until you are strong enough, and it happens in your time, nobody can tell you how long to grieve. Nobody can tell you how long to deal with certain things. Nobody can tell you how long to hold on to something, because it's your life. It's your process. I actually was told by my employer that they felt that I was distracted. I'm literally dealing with my son being murdered and going through the investigation, the court process. So maybe she was right. Maybe I was distracted, but rightfully so. So I guess this may be a blessing. I try to look at everything to see what the positive may be from it. Now, I'll tell you right now, I still haven't figured out the positive of my son being taken from me. So don't expect me to give you any positives on that, because I just can't see it. Not that there's nothing there. I don't know that there is, but I just can't see it. And that's just me as a mother. And as Tabitha Brown would say, that's my business, because that's how I feel. I feel like I'm all over the place because there's so much coming at me and I'm being pulled in so many different directions. And I hope you're able to follow. I hope that it's helping you in some way, if nothing else, to let you know if you're going through a lot and you feel like you're being pulled in 100 directions, you're not alone. I'm with you in spirit. I'm with you here. If you need me, you can email me. Remember, wearemighty24@gmail.com. I'm here. I understand. I may not know exactly what you're feeling because it's not for me to feel, but I understand. If you're going through any sort of grief, any sort of loss, any sort of setback, because I'm being hit with all of those things right now. But I know it's okay. Or at least it will be. I'm going to move forward from this and be ready for the next thing that's going to come my way, because I know it's not going to be smooth sailing for many of this. To the families that have had recent tragedies, dealing with recent losses, recent grief, be strong. And all you do, be true to yourself. Be strong and be mighty. We are here every other Friday, everywhere that you listen to podcasts. And you can also see us on Spotify and YouTube. Again, if you'd like to be a guest, please feel free to email us at wearemighty24@gmail.com. And be on the lookout for the We Are Mighty podcast Facebook and Instagram pages. I'd love to interact with you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.